everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today, coming to you from the Sports Interaction Studio, where we always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. In this one, we're going to be talking about spring training, and specifically the individuals who were invited to spring training. Ben Nicholson-Smith put this out just the other day. This is all of the guys off of the 40-man roster who were invited to spring training. It's rather overwhelming because there's a lot of names on here. You see a bunch of right-handed pitchers, couple catchers in there, a bunch of different guys. We're going to go through this list because we actually have kind of pinpointed 4 individuals that we are going to be keeping our eyes on during spring training, and who we do think that if they play well during spring training, and depending on how the season progresses, you could see all of them come up to the show at some point in some role in 2026. So, of course, let us know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. Hit that like, smash that subscribe button. The first individual that we do want to talk about here on this list of guys is Yariel Rodriguez. This feels like a layup, but at the end of the day, the guy had a 3.08 ERA last year over 73 innings.
Yeah, like I liked Yariel Rodriguez. I think in the beginning part of the season, he was shaky, very streaky up and down. But as the season went on, I felt like he got pretty consistent. And then even into the postseason, I know we didn't see him a hell of a lot, but that's because our starting pitching was doing so good. And we just had some other guys that were popping off a little bit better in that bullpen. So he kind of was on the back burner right there. But I really liked him, what he did for the Blue Jays in 2025. Sometimes with spot starts, sometimes to give you additional length in the bullpen if you needed to. So again, I liked what he did. The Blue Jays, they DFA'd him over this winter, and then luckily they was able to pass the waivers, end up in our minor league system. So effectively, we get to clear a space off the 40-man roster. He's off the roster right now. So the Blue Jays, if they really do need some additional help in that bullpen or whatever, they can call up Yariel Rodriguez and bring him back to the big league squad. He doesn't have any options, so it'd be a one call up, and you got to hope that he stays there. He's still got like 2 more years of his deal left. So, I mean, man, like you might as well like see what you got, and you'll probably at some point will come up. Injuries will happen. And again, I don't think it's that far of a stretch. It's not like he didn't perform well. He performed pretty good enough for a big league level.
Was kind of wild to see them just get rid of them just like that without warning. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a good baseball player. I was genuinely stunned when nobody scooped him up off of waivers. Yeah. I guess that contract's a bit too expensive, but still, you're talking about somebody that did have a 3.08 ERA in MLB. Like, this isn't AAA, this isn't AA. This is he did that at the MLB level. So I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on Yariel Rodriguez. It feels like he could still have a role to play at some point in his MLB career with the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll see how he does in spring training, and whether or not, depending on injuries, depending on performances at the MLB level, I could definitely see this dude being on the short list of guys getting the call up should something go wrong.
And honestly, side note, really good for his development here, because he kind of was thrust into a big role early, starting for the Jays back in 2024, and then like kind of doing a bullpen, not really sure role last year. This year, go focus on your craft and really hone in and get ready for 2026. Now, the next guy on this list that we actually had the honor to interview back in September, and one of the best rising candidates on the Blue Jays prospect system and minor league system, is Gage Stanifer, another pitcher, and he is being invited to spring training. Great young guy, very humble, and he had quite the rise last year, going through single A, high single A, and then double A for just a short stint. He only had 2 games started in the double A team, but if you look at his high single A in Vancouver, it was very, very good. This is the largest sample size, 76 innings pitched and an ERA of 3.2. Very good for the young guy. And again, I like looking at this over here, the age difference. He's under 2.5 or 2.2 age difference of the average in high single A. So he's a young guy.
I've never noticed that before. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's good comparison. We can see like, okay, so he's younger than most of the guys, and he's doing some pretty good work. So he's kind of ahead of schedule, and that's why he was kind of named one of the highest risers in the Blue Jays system. He's our number 6 prospect right now, and just like Trey Savage, I could see a very similar fast rise if he gets off to a very good start next year.
Yeah, it's going to depend on his caliber of play, obviously, and that starts with spring training. How do you look? How's your fastball leaving? Is it explosive or what do we think, right? How was the off season in terms of physicality and conditioning? All of that is going to set kind of the framework for how the Toronto Toronto Blue Jays are going to be looking at him and evaluating him the entire season. If he has a really good spring training, then that could open the door, I think, for them to be like, hey, if he's popping off in Double-A, maybe, we bump him up a level, or maybe we just make the overall leap and bring him up to MLB as a whole. And we've seen that with Trey Savage. Like, you saw the meteoric rise from that dude. So it's definitely not impossible. He's not at the same prospect pedigree as Trey Savage, but you got to start somewhere. And he has been explosive in this system so far. So this is somebody that I'm definitely interested in watching, not only just for this year, but for following years too, because this could be one of the guys, honestly. And hey, in 2028, you want to be a starter for us in the rotation? Like, I could actually see something like that happening with Gage Stanifer.
Yeah, and just like you said with Trey Savage, he could come up and just jump right out of the bullpen if they really need to. I mean, we didn't do a heck of a lot with the bullpen this offseason. Injuries are going to happen. If he's performing well, like you said, he jumps right up. And this is a win-now window. Same reason why they brought Trey Savage all the way up. They assessed who was the best 26 men on our roster. If Gage Stanifer is playing like the best 26 men, he will come up in a postseason run, right? Now, another guy that we also got the privilege to talk to down in Buffalo is Mr. Riley Tirotta. And I wanted to bring this guy up too, because he was quite literally the MVP of the Buffalo Bisons last year. He's 27 years old, so he's getting up there a little bit in age in terms of minor league players. But you see an OPS of 775, batting average of 268. This guy hit a decent amount of extra power, 20 doubles, 12 home runs. He was very, very solid, and all year long was a very good player for those Buffalo Bisons. Even though they didn't have a good year, he was pretty consistent.
He was, effectively one of their more consistent individuals for them. Now, I will admit, like, the statistics don't completely jump off the page to me, so I guess that kind of tells you what the team was really like last year. Yeah. But Riley Tirotta has been somebody that's been in our system for a long period of time. You're not going to find him on our top prospects list because he's not that. But this is one of those Nathan Lucas molds, I think, and I wouldn't be
Will Robertson kind of
sure
year, right?
Yeah, like, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised at all if and this will require some poor performances and some injuries. They're not fast tracking Riley Tirotta to the show. If it could go their way, and I mean the managements and the coaching staff, he probably stays in AAA forever, because that means that everybody's popping off at the MLB level. That means that everybody's healthy, everybody's doing well. But we know that that's not going to happen. Some people are going to underperform, and some people are going to get hurt. And if Riley Tirotta is the most consistent individual over there, down there in Buffalo, and maybe can do a little bit more than what he did last year, then I think he's got a real shot to be one of those stopgaps in the middle of the season. Oh shit, we got a big stretch of games coming up, and our our guys are just depleted right now. We need somebody in here for this road trip. Riley Tirotta could be that guy.
Yeah, again, because it's the veteranness of him. He's been around for quite a long time. And I like the comparison, Nathan Lucas. Not as old as Nathan Lucas, but still has been around for quite a while, has the experience where, again, you don't feel bad burning the options. And again, I'm not trying to say like he is the next Nathan Lucas or anything like that, because I think he's still a bit of ways away from reaching that level at a major league level right now. But he's got the year. This is the year to prove it, right? Because of the age and because of, what he did last year in a consistent level for the Buffalo Bisons. Now, the last guy on this list was actually named Blue Jays top prospect in terms of position players, and that is, best name in the minor league system, RJ Shreck, a outfielder, left fielder, right fielder, center fielder. He had a pretty good year last year, and arguably, he did do a bit better than Riley Tirotta.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for RJ Shreck, man. Like, he is, correct me if I'm wrong, he's still one of our top prospects for us.
Yes, I believe
so. He's on the prospect list right now for us, right down there at number 10. 25, though, which is right around the time where you should start aging out of the prospect system and start to either become an MLB player or not become an MLB player. Now, the one thing that's kind of hindering him right now is there is a lot of dudes on the totem pole that are likely above him. Right. You do still have Nathan Lucas up there. However, we didn't go out and we didn't get Kyle Tucker, right? So that's just one more, I guess, spot that isn't necessarily filled. And should injuries or should underperformances happen, it's a slightly slower or slightly quicker, I guess, road to MLB for him. as opposed to if they did get Kyle Tucker, in which case it would be that much more difficult. But this is one of those guys where, should he have a good spring training, he's going to enter into a short list of individuals, similarly to Riley Tirotta and similarly to Gage and similarly to Yariel, get himself onto that short list of guys where, when the season's progressing and when we're in June and when there is that long road trip and when the outfield is depleted and when somebody, just went down and it's a 10-dayer, right? It's not a season-ending thing, but it's a 10-day IL and you need somebody. RJ Shreck could be that dude.
Yeah, I honestly think that RJ Shreck's going to be that guy out of spring training. There's always one guy out of spring training that everyone kind of just talks about, keeps their eye on. I think RJ Shreck will be that guy this year. I mean, we went down and saw him in Buffalo last year. He was explosive. He was awesome. He has extra base power, 18 homers, 14 doubles. He's a pretty damn good player. And I think that this guy is just taking that next step, and he's been consistently taking next steps every single year. I mean, again, at 25 years old, it's time to kind of enter our prime a little bit right here. I feel like he'll be that guy in that conversation right now that, he'll probably get a chance this upcoming year. It all depends if he can stay even at this current level, if not, take the next step.
Well, and take a look as well what he did last year, right? Rookie, A, double A, triple A. He was across the board last year in terms of everything, and he did fairly well at every single level. So shout out to RJ Shreck. Those are the 4 individuals that we're going to be looking for. That's not to say don't pay attention to everybody else on that list, but those are the 4 guys that right now, anyways, we kind of got the microscope on and are really going to be paying attention to and are rather excited about. But if you have any individuals that you are excited about, please let us know in the comments down below. Hit that like, smash that subscribe button, hit the hype button too if you have the option to do so. $4 a month to become a YouTube member. Shouldn't take it all of our current YouTube members. You guys are amazing.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And as always, go Jays, go!